Hi, and welcome back to my channel. It's good to see you again. Today's class will be about words that are often confusing to everyone, including native English speakers. This is already part 5 of a series I am making about confusing words. So if you need help with certain vocabulary, this is my list so far. If you have something else you would like to learn that is not on this list yet, let me know and I can write it down and explain it in my next video. For today though, we will focus on while and during, whose and whose, and the differences between wife, woman, lady, ma'am, husband, man, gentleman, and sir. Let's get started and bring you one big step closer to English fluency. Okay, so while and during have very similar jobs in English sentences. We use these two words when we talk about actions connected to time. Let's start with while and learn the general rules. When we want to use while in a sentence, we will usually use it when we talk about two or more actions happening at the same time. You eat while I sleep. These actions can be happening now as well as the past and future, but I'll go into more detail about that in just a moment. Most of the time, the action that began first isn't important. The main thing is they are happening at the same time. These two or more actions don't need to relate to each other. What that means exactly is you don't need one action to do the other action. The sun shines while I eat, right? You can eat anytime you want. There is no rule saying that you can only eat when the sun shines. The sun shining and you eating don't relate to each other. You don't need this one to do this one. Sometimes the actions do relate to each other, which is fine. I eat my lunch while I have my lunch break. Yeah, you wait until your lunch break to begin eating. Good. Let's look at some other examples. So you are listening to music while you are cooking dinner. As you can see, the music is playing at the same time you are cooking. This sentence was in the present progressive tense, so happening right this very second. We can use while in other tenses or times too. The music plays while I cook. The music has been playing while I have been cooking. The music played while I cooked. The music was playing while I was cooking. The music had been playing while I had been cooking. The music will play while I cook. You can say the music will play while I will cook, but it's not exactly correct. Everyone says the music will play while I cook. You only need one will. The music will be playing while I soon start cooking. Again, only one will is needed. We can also have while at the beginning of the sentence too, and say something like, while you ate, I jogged. While you sleep, I write. Same concept, just parts of the sentence are moved around just a little bit. Now let's compare while with during. During is another great word we also use to talk about time and actions. But we use during a little bit more when we want to talk about a specific period of time, like all of last night, for example. We can say that it snowed during the entire night. This means that yesterday evening it started snowing and simply did not stop until the morning came. I lost my phone during my vacation. I fell asleep during the movie because it was so boring. I played Sudoku during the entire flight. If you're thinking that while and during sound very similar and don't know which one to use, think for a second and ask yourself if a noun or a verbal phrase will come after the word. I know that sounds complicated, and remember, you never need to memorize what a verbal clause is. I still can't even remember what a verbal clause is sometimes, but let me show you what I mean. He hurt his arm while playing the game. He hurt his arm during the game. Playing a game is a verbal clause, while, and game is a noun, during. The dog got scared while it thundered outside. The dog got scared during the thunderstorm. I can't hear my phone while the music plays. I can't hear my phone during the concert. I hope that helped. I know it's difficult to think about which word to use while you are talking to someone, but with practice, it is possible, and you will get so good at it, you won't even have to think about it anymore. It will become natural. Let's look at our next much easier group of words, whose and whose. Okay, these words sound the same actually, but they are spelled a little differently. Whose, spelled W-H-O''S, is simply who is. Who's the oldest child in your family? Who is the oldest child? Who's that man by the door? Who's coming to the cinema with us? Whose, spelled W-H-O-S-E, is possessive, which means it's mine, yours, ours, or his, for example. Whose red car is that? Whose purse is on my desk? Whose glass of water is empty? These objects belong to someone. Good job. That is it for whose and whose. If you can say who is in the sentence, you can say whose. And talking about things that a person owns or has is whose. You know what? I lied about being done. Just for fun, let's use both in the same sentence, and let's see if you know where the correct whose goes in these sentences. If you want to test yourself, cover the subtitles and see if you are correct. Who's the person whose car is parked on the street? Who's the artist whose painting is in the gallery? Whose book did you recommend? Can you tell me who's the author? Lovely. Now we are 100% done with who's and whose. I promise this time. Let's now look at our last words for the day. Wife, woman, lady, ma'am, husband, man, gentleman, and sir. A wife is a woman you are married to. A husband is the man you are married to. This means that you had a ceremony at City Hall and the government sees you as one unit, you can say. Some people who are married wear rings on their fingers as a symbol of their marriage. A woman is an adult and is someone who was born female or identifies as female. A man is an adult too and is someone who was born male or identifies as male. If you want to talk about children, you would simply say boy or girl. Lady is a polite or respectful way of saying woman. Gentleman is the polite way of saying man. You might be asking if that pronunciation is correct. Gentleman instead of gentleman. And gentleman is the correct pronunciation. Why, you may ask? Short answer, why not? And long answer, it started in Middle English around 700 to 1000 years ago when stress patterns and consonant clusters in words evolved or changed, and modern English simply kept the pronunciation even in today's speech patterns. But don't worry about it. No one will ever ask you that on a test. It's simply a fun fact. Let's get back on topic. You will often hear ladies and gentlemen during announcements or see them in your emails because the person talking to you or writing to you also wants to be polite. If you want to be extra polite to someone, you can say something like, "What a fine young lady you are," or "What a fine young gentleman you are." Ma'am, also madam, and sir are used as very polite terms, usually for adults we don't know, and people in the military say this daily. We also say it when we talk directly to a judge or the police too. We can say things like, "Sir, you dropped your wallet." "Ma'am, is this your bag?" "How can I help you today, sir?" And, "Excuse me, ma'am, may I ask you a question?" Congratulations, you made it to the end of this class. I hope you had fun because I certainly did. I can't wait to see you again for part 6. So until then, bye.